Morning, guys. Kurt from Time Machine Transport. Well, I didn't anticipate this happening last night in Texoma, Oklahoma. I said Texoma, Texas, but it's actually Texoma, Oklahoma. So this is the next day after my my fuel filter is leaking, or I think it's a fitting. I don't think it's a fuel filter. I think it's a fitting. Anyways, I unplugged. I'm going to attempt to tighten it up because when I unplugged, there's a plug right here. And that's probably for your ignition, I would imagine, or not, I don't know, or for the power for the pump. It's got to use power to pump it, so that's the power. So anyways, I didn't idle my truck last night, and I started this morning and at like 6:30, and it was dry. It wouldn't start. It was like and I could have kept going on it if you're in like a panic mode or a desperation mode, which I'm not. Peak drivers will run them dry, and I think it's obviously because it dripped overnight. The fuel dripped out of the that fitting from the injectors, or it went to the injector, went to the other side, and it filled up the cylinder. So either way, the injectors are dry, and the pump has no fuel in the reservoir to fuel to the injectors. So I'm going to show you guys how to do a dry start. Yeah, there's absolutely no fuel in the reservoir. How did that get so low? And there's no dripping. That's weird. Well, I don't know. Anyways, so what you're going to do is, I had an extra. I always carry extra water and coolant and oil and stuff like that because the truck stops gouging on that shit. Obviously, I'm not drinking that water that was in there. It's from my radiator just in case. And I don't run water in my coolant because we're from the north. And if you ever run water, you don't even really want to dilute the stuff. If you have 100% coolant, that's 100%, and you can dilute it 50-50. But I wouldn't recommend diluting a 50-50 coolant. It would just pose problems for you from the south, but in the north, but down south, these guys and gals run straight water. Excuse me, in the older trucks. So, not something I wanted to do this morning, but that's what happens when you're self-employed. So, if I was a big company driver, I'd have roadside service here, and the company be paying, but obviously I'd probably have a brand new rig as well. So, anyways, back to the point, Kurt. So what I did was, I had this full of water. I emptied it out. I went over to the fuel pump here at the Loves in Texoma and topped off that gallon so I can go ahead and fill this up. So I went and got the fuel. Then I took this cap off. And I'm going to pause you guys, and I'm going to show you how to solve a dry start without that is drained out. So, because she won't start like this. She needs fuel in the reservoir. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys what to do. Alright, guys. So I did try to tighten that fitting back there, but it's in such a area that I can't get a wrench behind it, or a channel locks or pliers, and I wouldn't want to attempt to tighten that. Right back here where my finger is, right back there. Right on the tip of my middle finger there. That hose. Anyways, I don't want to attempt tightening anything like that without an open end, because I don't want to take the chance of stripping it or getting a bad bite on it. And I can't get it behind this big hose, so I definitely need an open end that's thinner than my channel locks or my pliers, because it's right behind this on the other side. Anyways, so, but they do, excuse me, I've been a little sick. I did luck out. They do have two mechanics, like within less than a mile here. I did text one last night, didn't get a response. So both open right now at 7. So anyways, I'm gonna run over there. So I wouldn't advise, because one time, okay, so I know this isn't pertinent to the video, but I'll tell you a story. I was in a different truck. I was in a Kenworth that we have, and I was in New Mexico on Highway 20, or on Highway 40 on mile marker 20. I remember like it was yesterday. I was in the left hammer lane, and all of a sudden the truck just dies. So I coast over to the side, and I popped the hood. I was pretty inexperienced then. Well, I was experienced CDL driver, but I wasn't experienced in mechanics. Not like I'm a mechanic now. I don't pretend to be a mechanic, but I can tend to figure things out for the most part, I believe. So anyways, looked around, I didn't see anything, so I wasn't really sure. And I'm like, so I call a tow truck, because there's a TA at mile marker 16 in Gallup, New Mexico. Anyways, call a tow truck. They towed us from mile marker 20 to mile marker 16 at the TA there, plus about a quarter of a mile off the interstate, or a half a mile off the interstate, and charged us over $600 for a 4-mile tow. So anyways, it ended up being a broken fuel line. So I know that those fittings back there can be pretty fragile, even though they're brass. I don't want to take that chance and try to get gorilla on it and snap that fitting, and I'm dead in the water. So like I said yesterday, if you're going to do this, to be smart about it. Don't attempt to do anything back there that you can't fix right where you are, because without roadside service, because you could break one of those fittings or crack a line, crack a hose. I've had a cracked line in our old fuel reservoir. I had a cracked line that was sucking air, and I thought it was that Fleet Guard with the plunger valve on it. So that's why I bought this used on eBay. It ended up not being the fuel reservoir. Ended up being a cracked fitting on a high pressure hose. So that was interesting. But anyways, you can see what I did was I just pulled the cap off, and I actually topped this all the way off. So since we've been talking, or since I've been talking, because that's all I do is talk, right? It went down that far. So let me I'm going to put you guys down for 1 second. Okay, guys, so I topped it back off, and it's already gone. I went all the way up to here, and it's already going down. So let me tell you a little fun fact. I mean, I used to be a general contractor for many years. And if my brother Jose's watching, how you doing, brother? He's the guy that worked with me back in the day. Anyways, we had like 15 guys and 3 trucks back in the day. And when 08 crashed, I lost everything. So anyways, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, so I went and got my CDL. So, and if it weren't for my mom, hi mom, I love you. I was crashed on her couch, I'd be homeless. So, and for my wife, obviously. So anyways, so as a fun fact, being a general contractor and doing everything from the basement to the roof, a lot of people don't realize or know this, that water or liquid seeks its own level. So if you notice, like I won't go into detail because you're probably not going to understand. Well, maybe you would understand and maybe you won't. I'm not trying to insult anybody. But this fuel, if the fuel line on that hose is here, then that's where it's going to stop. Now, if I drop this hose, right, and go like that and bring her down, and what I'm going to do is I'm trying to get the fuel closer to the pump. So the fuel is in this hose right here, right? And it's going to go up and it's going to go down and into the fuel pump, okay? If this fuel is higher than that hose, or if I drop that hose down, this fuel will go past that line, okay? If the line is way up here, there's no way I'm going to get fuel into that line, because liquid or fuel or any sort of water or liquid or anything, it seeks its own height or its own limit, or it seeks its own height, I think it is. Anyways, so this will keep going down as long as that fuel is lower than this than this fuel height. If it's higher, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's why it's drained twice down so far, because the fuel is going inside of here, inside this line, up to about here. So I'm going to see if I can push the line down a little bit. And it's also going into here, because this was completely dry. I don't know how, but it was completely dry. It's not, the fuel pump's not leaking that bad. So anyways, back to the point where now you can see it's gone down even more. So I'm going to put you guys down. I'm going to do this a few times to get as much fuel in that line as possible, so it has to do less cranking. So I'm going to put you guys down again. All right, guys. So it's gone down again. Don't try to rush this, man. You want to try to, if this thing ran dry, you do not want to take the chance of just fill. I'm not going to take credit for this. I did see this on another guy's video. Not what I'm doing right now, but how he did this. He took off the cap because he was a mechanic. A driver ran out of fuel and they were in desperation and panic mode, and they kept cranking on the ignition and drained the whole fuel system dry. The truck did not have a priming system on it. Neither does this one. And I don't think this is probably better than or easier than priming an entire truck, but this truck does not have a priming system on it. That's why I do it this way. So, just prove the point. So, and it's gone down even more since I've been talking. So, anyways, get as much fuel in the system as you possibly can. He did not do this. All he did is he pulled the cap, filled this thing completely up. He left the cap off. He went and he turned the ignition, and it sucked the fuel pump, because it pumps, obviously the name fuel pump, it pumps the fuel into the injectors. So the fuel pump drained this thing completely, and then he went and he filled it all the way back up, and then he put the cap on very loose. He did not tighten it down. Oh, no, he did tighten it down, and then he started it, and I'll show you what the starting process is, but he did not do all this. So I'm thinking, well, this, like I said, this proves my point. So it's gone down even more since I've been talking, because like I said, that's all I do is talk. So look it up. Water or liquid will seek its own level. So I did push the hose down, because this is, now beyond this point, if that is not full, right? If that's all dry in there, gravity's pulling this fuel down, okay? The pump is not doing anything. Gravity's pulling this down. Well, when gravity reaches this, gravity's not going to do this, because obviously it's going uphill. So you have to bring that hose down, because like I said, fuel or water will seek its own level. Once it fills that whole entire tube, now it's no longer gravity fed. Now it's just sucking through, kind of like if you siphon a fuel tank or something like that. I don't know the whole physics or basics of it. I'm just telling you what I know, or what I think I know. Anyways, so it's gone down even more. So now this is probably the 4th time I filled this up. Now I'm going to put you guys on pause, and I'm going to fill it up one more time, and then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get to the starting process. Okay? Sorry it's taking so long. I like to figure things out myself. So just trying to help you guys. Okay, guys. So man, it's already gone down again. Holy shit. So anyway, so like I said, don't try to rush this, man, because I started bringing up the point, but then obviously I sidetracked like I always do. Get as much fuel in this system as you can. Don't just fill this up and, my truck's been sitting overnight, and I run a CPAP machine to sleep, and it's, I got 4 good batteries, but you want to have as much juice in the batteries as possible on this. So that other mechanic that was cranking, that driver had been driving for hours, so those batteries were fresh. Mine aren't fresh, so I'm trying to get as much fuel in the system as possible, so I have to do less cranking on my batteries, okay? So now, since I've even been talking, it's gone down even more. Like I said, don't rush this, guys. You don't need to rush it, man. You don't need to rush it. If you rush it and you fill this thing completely up, and then you go and you start cranking on it, if you don't have fresh batteries, say for instance your truck's been sitting for a week or 2 or whatever, and the computer, because your computer drains down your batteries every day. So anyways, if say for instance your truck's sitting for a couple weeks and you come back and it's dry and you're like, holy shit, and you start cranking on that thing, you're going to dry the batteries out and you're going to be getting a jump. So anyways, like I said, it's already gone down that much. So I think I'm going to do this a few more times, and then we'll go ahead and try the starting process. I'm sorry, guys. Just trying to be as thorough as possible. Okay, guys, enough bullshitting. Damn, it's already gone down even more. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and, okay, so you're going to top this off. Like I said, take your time. Fill it up a few times. Let that fuel go down. Leave the cap off. All right, and I'll show you why. Then you come on over to the truck, and you just go ahead and wait for it to cycle. You're just going to give her hell a little bit. right, then you stop. And as you can see, the fuel's gone down even more because now the pump is pumping the fuel up towards into the injectors, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and top it off again. All right, I topped it off again. You're gonna come back over. Come on now. Now I might need roadside services. Fucker don't start pretty soon. All right, now, when it almost started like that, that's a good thing. All right, now, see how much fuel's gone out? That's why you want to top this off. You want to run this thing a few times. Like I said, let it fill up and then let it drain down on its own and then fill it back up again, because how many times have I filled that thing and it's gone down this much already? So now, the reason why I'm telling you that is, and I know, oh, stop talking, dude, just get to the point. No, this is the whole point. If you guys you're not willing to watch a video, you know, for the amount of time it takes, truly, then you're not, you know, you're a horrible fucking truck driver, because you're very impatient and you're going down the road at fucking 80 miles an hour and you're an impatient piece of shit. So watch the fucking video or don't. So anyways, you're going to want to, like I said, fill this up a few times and let gravity take it down. Fill it up, let gravity take it down. Fill it up, let gravity take it down, over and over and over. The reason why I'm telling you that is because, look at the fuel pump just sucked it down. Now, I would have been completely dry and have to fill it up again. So I'm trying to save you that work. And look at how long it's taken me to start this truck. And if you have that much air in there, that's air that the pump has to pump, okay? That pump doesn't keep just sucking. It's a slow process. You got to get as much air out of this thing as possible, because if you don't, you're sucking air and not fuel, and that's more wear and tear on your batteries. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I know it's a long process to tell you that, but I'm thorough like that. Now, you heard the truck, it almost started, right? Don't start the truck. And the reason why you leave this cap off is because it's sucking the air. The air is escaping out of this hole. So as the pump is pumping the fuel to the injectors, the air is able to release out of here. Well, actually, I don't think that's true. I'm sorry, I totally fucked that up. You leave the cap off because it's less restriction. Forget the whole releasing of the air thing. I mean, it could be, I don't know, but it's also less restriction. So when you have this cap off, there's no pressure in here. So it's less restriction on the fuel pump and on your batteries to get that fuel to your injectors, okay? So now, when the truck is just about to start, you let off on the key. Do not start the truck. Do not start the truck. Do not start the truck, okay? When the truck was just about to start, I let off the key. Now you come back and you put your cap back on, and this cap is getting gnarly because all the teeth are starting to go on it. So anyways, that's not good for business. I'm gonna have to order another cap and trying to do this one-handed. Did I say do not start the truck? Right? All right. So just give her, you don't have to get gorilla on it. Oh. All right. Maybe one more for good measure. Now you come back over. Now it's gonna take a minute for it to start, but she'll start. Let it cycle. There you go. Now she's gonna get a lot of white smoke. There you go. All right. So that's how you dry start a truck. And see how much it's gone down again? I tell you guys, and I know I'm not trying to start, I guess I am a preacher. That's what my mom says anyways. Oh, you preach too much. Whatever, Betty. Anyways, that's how you start a truck, man. I'm just thorough. You can fast forward through the bullshit parts, but try to get as much fuel in that system as possible. I'm telling you, get as much fuel in the system as possible. Less air, more fuel, less wear and tear on, or less cranking on your batteries. And my batteries were, they were telling me when she's going, she's getting low on the battery side. So I was fortunate. But anyways, that's how you dry start. That's how you take care of a dry start on a truck. I think it's called dry start. So anyways, if you like the video, please thumbs up and like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.